The unfortunate downfall of K-Flock.
Bronx drill is one of the hottest new waves in hip-hop. Young rappers from the Bronx are popping off and running up millions of views, but there's a ton of competition at the top. Back in 2020, K-Flock started running up massive numbers and was on his way to taking over the whole movement. But then, he allegedly murdered someone in broad daylight and he's been locked up ever since. Then just when fans thought he might beat the case, the feds came through and hit him with a massive RICO indictment. It's a wild story all around. And today, we're breaking down how K-Flock went from being the king of Bronx drill to facing life in prison. Let's get right into it. K-Flock came up in a part of the Bronx called SLIXZZ and reps a set that uses the same name. Back in the day, he wanted to become a pro athlete, but it didn't take long for him to switch directions and get active in the streets. Flock didn't even want to be a rapper back then, but he acted like a hype man for his homies B-Love and Dougie B, who were trying to make it in the industry. Eventually, Dougie B convinced Flock to hop in the booth, but nobody expected what happened next. Flock dropped his first track in May 2020, then followed it up with a couple of collabs with his homies. In August 2020, he released Is You Ready and Being Honest, and both tracks ran up over 1 million views. Flock was only rapping for a few months, but he was already one of the hottest new artists in the city. But just like Chicago drill back in the day, it's more than just music in the Bronx. Almost every rapper in the drill scene is also gang affiliated, and street politics ended up getting brought into the music. Shy E.K. and E-Dot Baby were both coming up around the same time as Flock. E-Dot repped the OYs, while Shy put on for the OGs. Both of them were cool with Flock and a lot of other dudes from SLIXZZ. But then, E-Dot was caught chilling with Flock's ops and everything changed. E-Dot was blowing up after his track Ready for War racked up millions of plays, and a crew called Structure wanted to link up with him. But at the same time, Structure was cool with RPT, a set that beefs with SLIXZZ. According to rumors, E-Dot went to a party with Structure, and when he showed up, some dudes from RPT was already there. Flock and SLIXZZ had issues with them, but obviously E-Dot didn't feel like crashing out over a beef he wasn't involved in, so he just kicked it with Structure and RPT that night. E-Dot might not have thought it was a big deal, but that's not how Flock took it. They had been cool for a minute, but after E-Dot was spotted with RPT, Flock considered him an op forever. It also caused a split between Shy and K-Flock, because Shy was still rocking with E-Dot. A lot of people think most of the violence going on in the Bronx right now can be traced back to the night E-Dot chilled with Structure and RPT.
What the fuck? What? Nah, he chatting right now. So off that one situation, everybody in the Bronx is...
Violence going on in the Bronx right now can be traced back to the night
crazy.
E-Dot chilled with Structure and RPT. Flock and E-Dot started sending disses back and forth, which just turned the situation...
What? Like, that shit didn't make no type of sense, bro.
Chill with Structure and RPT. Flock and E-Dot started sending disses back and forth, which just turned the situation up even more. On the track Clicking, Flock said, "Why these
Here we go with
actors? I shoot like the Raptors, gang in the back, and they blitz like the Packers. You don't shoot like Kobe, you play for the Lakers." Then E-Dot clapped back with the track called Geek and said, like, "No, I don't play for the Lakers, like, I'm a gangster taking them risks. SLIXZZ K, all that shit to my d." But while Flock was going after his old homies and allegedly sparking a huge wave of violence, he was also blowing up in the mainstream at a fast pace. In October 2021, he linked up with Lil TJ and Fabio Foreign on the track Not in the Mood, which hit number 61 on the Billboard Hot 100. He kept it pushing in November and dropped his debut mixtape and was named Hip Hop Rookie of the Month by Billboard. Flock wasn't just popping off in New York, he was looking like the first Bronx drill artist who could take over the whole game. But unfortunately, he didn't leave the streets behind, and his beef with E-Dot was getting worse by the day. Both sides had their homies jumping into the beef. Then, in December 2021,
Yo, bro, he's making it seem like the OYs and the Sev was just, yo, they was going back and forth, body was dropping every day. The violence in the Bronx is all because of that one situation. Like, come on, bro.
Both sides had their homies jumping into the beef. Then, in December 2021,
listen to this.
Flock wasn't just popping off in New York. He was looking like the first Bronx drill artist who could take over the whole game. But unfortunately, he didn't leave the streets behind, and his beef with E-Dot was getting worse by the day. Both sides had their homies jumping into the beef. Then, in December 2021, K-Flock allegedly killed E-Dot's friend Waka outside of a barbershop in the middle of the day. When the police reports first broke, they said K-Flock spotted Waka in the barbershop and decided to check him. He opened the door and asked Waka what he was looking at.
The cops really did spread a whole false narrative. Fucking K-Flock in the ops hood, seen someone fucking grilling them, recognized them, and then walked into the spot and then just shot him right there and ran back out. Like, they really said some crazy shit. They was spreading some false rumors.
Then Waka walked over to him and started fighting. According to the initial reports, Flock turned around to leave, then spun back around and shot Waka in the neck and back. The cops released a photo of the shooter that was caught by a surveillance camera. In the photo, you can see a dude rocking a Montclair coat, a Mary jeans, and a pair of Jordans that hadn't even been released yet. At first it looked like Flock threw on a bunch of designer and went out looking for problems, but then footage came out that proved the cops' original report was completely wrong. Surveillance footage leaked online that showed Flock walking past the barbershop without stopping or saying anything to someone inside. After he went by, Walker came out of the shop and started following him. It's not clear what happened next because the shooting wasn't captured by the camera, but obviously the cops had the situation twisted. Flock turned himself in on the murder charge, but his legal team is helping him claim that it was self-defense. Flock is known for being a wild dude who isn't afraid to crash out, but in this case, it looks like Walker might have been the one who started the issue and ended up getting killed over it. We'll find out more after the trial starts, but Walker's murder ain't the only case Flock's gonna have to fight. Back in December, Flock's fans got some good news about the murder case. Someone on TikTok posted a jail call with him where he said,
"Wipe the nose of his money, man. I'll be back real soon. 2023 bombs, you heard like."
Even though Flock's been locked up for over a year, his name
March 14th.
never fell off in the industry. In April 2022, he released a collab with Dougie B, Bori 300, and Cardi B called Shake It. Linking up with Cardi B was
Nah, where the fuck Bori's been,
massive
bro?
for Flock, and it took his career to the next level,
Damn.
even though he was behind bars when it dropped. It looked like if Flock could beat the murder charge, then he would come out and still be at the top of the game. Fans also thought Flock scored a huge win after he hired Jeffrey Lichman to be his lawyer. Lichman's a serious dude in the legal game. He defended El Chapo and John Gotti Jr., so a simple murder case should be a breeze for him to handle. There's a good chance Flock would have walked away from the murder charges, but then everything changed in February.
And they really trying to bury him, bro. This shit is crazy, bro. They really want him to sit in that bitch. He's 19 years old, bro. They want him to live in that bitch for the rest of his life. That shit is crazy. They knew he was going to beat the charges, and they fucking dropped a whole indictment on his ass.
U.S. Justice Department handed down a RICO indictment
With 8 people on it,
that
bro.
targeted 8 alleged members from Sev's side and Third's
crazy.
side, including K-Flock. According to the indictment, the two gangs linked up to terrorize the area and were shooting up the city like crazy between 2019 and 2022. Flock's alleged murder of Walker is in the indictment, but he also caught new charges for allegedly letting off shots at the ops in June 2020 and November 2021.
Yeah, they said it's outside RPC. That shit was crazy.
Beating the murder is one thing.
I'm surprised people haven't like looked in that shit. Like there's another whole like list of indictments where it says like what happened to every situation. Like the fucking Z-Money and AP Money got like, bro, every shooting that happened around 183rd, bro, they got charged for that shit. That shit was crazy, bro.
But it's almost impossible
like
to get out
6
of
shootings
RICO
on that
unless
shit.
you snitch. Flock's facing a minimum of life in prison and could
Damn.
even get the death penalty if he's convicted. And it don't seem like the feds have any interest in giving him a deal. Flock's lawyer and a lot of other people think the RICO only happened because the courts knew Flock could get off on the murder case, but they wanted to keep him off the streets. Jeffrey Lichman told XXL, "We're not surprised by the federal charges, as we've been fighting Kevin State murder charge for over a year now. And considering the shooting was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't particularly a strong charge. That it's now being used as a basis for a possible death penalty charge is extraordinary. Even if Flock could beat his own charges, someone almost always flips when it comes to RICO cases." His homie Sticky B hopped on IG and said the feds already offered a deal, but he's staying solid. According to him, he's facing 30 years
Why that picture looks so clean?
and said the feds already offered a deal, but he's
Is this edited? Oh, look at this. It's like abstract art or some shit. They added some effect to it. I was like,
staying
what
solid.
the fuck?
According to him, he's facing 30 years, but he'd rather take the time than snitch on his homie. Sticky wrote, "They said, tell us about Kevin. Help yourself. 30 years is a long time. Well, I guess I'll see you in 30 years.
Type shit.
Even if Sticky ain't gonna flip, that don't mean someone else won't. Almost everyone in the case is facing life in prison, so it's
Not everybody.
probably only a matter of time before one of them flips
There's only a couple people on that indictment with racketeering charges. They ain't get listed in no shootings.
to get a lighter
Cal
sentence.
Sticky.
What's so tragic about this case is how pointless all the death and violence was. A lot of it allegedly started because someone hung out with the wrong people one night, and now several people are dead and a lot more are facing wild
Several.
sentences. K-Flock blew up so fast that it seemed like he was guaranteed to become a superstar, but instead of leaving the beef behind and focusing on his career, he threw it all away and might end up getting the death penalty for it. Hopefully other drill rappers learn to walk away when they get the chance, because if they're
On God. On God. If he really told them, I'll see you in 30 years.
crashing
Yeah,
out
that's
in the
crazy.
streets, it's only a matter of time
Like when Sticky come home, we need an interview.
before it catches up.
So if he actually
Rest in
said that, it's
peace
crazy.
to everyone who lost their lives.
I'm telling you, bro.
Lil
They wouldn't need you to snitch if they had all the evidence and they
Bronx
know they can convict K Flock and everybody else on the case. There's a reason they asking everybody to flip on K Flock. Not only do they want K Flock to sit in jail, rot in jail, and that's the only one they care about, but it's also, I feel like they don't got a lot of evidence to convict them on. That's why they want people to flip on him. Trying to make everybody tell the whole story. He gonna beat the murder. That's why they trying to add more shit on him. Yeah, bro, cause conspiracy, racketeering, that shit is just so like, that shit is the stupidest charge ever, bro.